method and everything like that. So, just following that, do you agree with cosmetologists today that the beginning of the universe has a cause?
Cosmologists don't think that.
No, they do.
Really?
Yeah, they believe that the beginning of the universe, or the Big Bang, whatever you want to call it, has a cause. Are you a
Oh, there's
philosopher?
a cause to the Big Bang. Okay, that's very different. Yeah, they would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the universe that we exist in and that we're a part of and interacting with each other has a starting point. Now, you also, if you took
No.
science and you all agree, you don't believe that the universe has a starting point.
I don't really have a belief about it, but nothing we know as of today uh,
Yeah, that's
points definitively toward that it does.
yeah, that's why I asked, because the thing that's the issue. They don't know.
Yeah, me
So
neither.
yeah, that they claim that they don't know, but they believe that the cause it has specific criteria following attributes. It must have knowledge. It must be intelligent. It must have will.
No, no, cosmologists do not say that.
No, the modern science, cosmologists, and science methodology, they all agree
No,
on
they
this.
do not say what you're
They do.
saying. None of them say that whatever made the Big Bang happened was a mind with intention.
Okay, so if that's not the case, what do you think we came from?
I don't know, including whether or not we come from anything.
Including whether or not we come from anything. So you don't have a take on how we got here, how we, like, what the start of the universe, the cause.
This is just going to roll back eventually to why does the universe exist, and I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah. Do you know why the universe exists?
I mean, if we just use logical arguments and we're being reasonable and
I
rational
would
with each other, we
I'd
can
prefer
eventually come
evidence.
to the yeah, sure. If we use rationality, right, and
So you
logical.
said yeah, sure, and then you just kept going down the same road. So you're not
No,
listening to anything that
no,
I'm
good.
saying?
Yeah, I am. You just said that you prefer evidence. Of course, I'm listening,
Yeah.
but I'm
Okay. So what evidence do you have?
so yeah. That's why I was saying that using rationality and logic, we're able to come to the conclusion of a beginning or a cause. Now, if you're a philosopher, on the other hand, and you don't believe in, or you don't take science methodology, because they in fact do believe that there was a cause, they just don't want to admit, because the attributes that contribute to the beginning of the cause, it it fits this perfectly with the description of knowledge, intelligence, uh, will. The beginning must have these attributes.
Right. So a precursor to the Big Bang, for example, could be cosmic inflation. Explain to me how cosmic inflation has those attributes.
Cosmic inflation. Can you like substantiate a little bit more on what you mean?
What did you say those attributes were, real quick? I'm going to write them down and then I'm going to do what you asked.
Sure. Knowledge,
What's wrong with my keyboard? Knowledge,
will,
will.
and there's many other attributes, but you can just use those too.
I'm going to add love. Okay. Knowledge, will, and love. So, cosmic inflation is the idea that before the Big Bang, which is the expansion of the universe, there's a period of hyper expansion of the universe where regions of space time expanded by just absurd quantities for an extremely microscopic amount of time, like literally trillionths of a second. So, is there knowledge, will, or love in any of that? Because that's a extremely popular view among these cosmologists that apparently think that
Can you
what you're
backtrack
reporting
just a
is
little bit?
if what you're reporting is true, cosmologists even agree that whatever caused the Big Bang has knowledge and will. So
Well, yeah. Well, my proposition is basically that it must have knowledge, right? It
okay.
must have will,
Explain to
and
me how cosmic inflation would have knowledge and will.
Cosmic inflation. No, I mean like the beginning. Like for example, the Big Bang. You have
Okay, tell me how the Big Bang has knowledge and will.
okay. So in the beginning, you have a cell, right? That either has an
No.
option. No, you don't. Is this not what cosmetologists believe?
You know that a cosmetologist is somebody that does hair?
I'm sorry. Maybe it's my
Right.
English.
Okay, so cosmologist, you think that cosmologists think that at the beginning of the Big Bang there was a cell.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Why would
that's
you
what
say
they.
that?
Well, what's the alternative?
What was the last piece of information about the Big Bang that you saw or read or heard
In what regards?
in any regard whatsoever? Because I have a theory that that you haven't looked into the Big Bang like even at all, like at all. I think maybe one time you heard somebody talk about it one
No,
time at
no,
like a social gathering, and then you started coming up with your own ideas or something.
no, not necessarily. So the Big Bang, it's just it's a linguistic terminology that atheists and agnostics like to use to
What
explain
was
something.
the last piece of information about
Excuse
the
me,
Big Bang that you consumed?
bro, you just asked me a question. I'm just responding to you really quick. I cater to some of the viewers here who just want a solid explanation of what's going on. So just to respond to what you were saying, for it's a language and a linguistic term that atheists use to identify basically something that they don't know, like how you stated earlier, you don't know, and how majority of atheists
This
do
is how
not.
I know you've never consumed any material about the Big Bang, because you'd have to know nothing in order to come up with some garbage
Well, that's what
explanation
they
like that.
no,
What was the last piece of information about the Big Bang that you consumed?
no. Really, just following the last piece that I've probably read online was following probably like the compression of the universe and then the expansion and
There's no compression of the universe.
in the event of the Big Bang there was no compression.
That is correct.
Well, that's what cosmologists believe.
It's not what any of them believe.
It
I
is what
promise you.
cosmologists believe in. As a matter of fact, let me pull up one of these sources.
I'm happy to announce that I can now offer signed copies of both of my books. This is because I've reopened my merch store where you can get your very own Spanky, t-shirt, and more. If you don't know, Rational Answers to Stupid Questions is a collection of responses to about 100 of the most common anti-scientific tropes. The book is meticulously detailed, it's been fact-checked by real scientists, and it's written in a clear and easy to understand way. Evolution, the Big Bang, creationism, flat Earth, all of that plus more is in there. Facts That Aren't True is a collection of over 150 commonly held beliefs that are not true. Each claim has a story behind it. You'll learn the history behind the claim, the science that disproves it, or partially supports it in some cases, and lots of side stories and tangents. Categories include the human body, history, religion, animals, nature, language, and a hodgepodge of miscellaneous facts that aren't true. So if you want to be equipped to handle the misinformation that you see me tackling here every day, get a copy of one or both of those books for yourself. Thank you.
We read Just Six Numbers by Martin Rees.
Have I read what?
Just Six Numbers by Martin Rees.
Nope. What about it?
How about Stephen Hawking?
What about that first book?
Have you read chapter 6 of the book?
I've never even heard of the book. Tell me about chapter 6.
Okay, no. How about Richard Dawkins? His book on.
Yeah, an evolutionary biologist. That's who I want to go to know anything about the Big Bang.
Yeah, but, well, they don't.
What
Just
about
focus on
chapter
evolution.
6?
where I'm going with this is basically
Nowhere.
no. Where I'm going with this is there's some knowledge that you haven't consumed, and my suggestion for you would be to go and do a little bit more
Buddy,
research.
you just Googled, hey, what are some books about the Big Bang? And then you rattled them off, but haven't explained any, you haven't given any indication that you've consumed
No,
any of this material.
I was just giving you an example of how much you do not know. So not only you don't know where we come from, you also don't know any of what of the major philosophers, cosmologists, or any of that nature actually believe.
You brought up
These are
Richard Dawkins, who's an evolutionary biologist. Why would I care what Richard Dawkins thinks about the Big Bang? I might as well ask you.
I guess it's rational to say that being knowledgeable on one plate of topics, you can also have knowledge on other things. So with that, you can't just because someone's a cosmologist on evolution doesn't mean that all he knows is evolution, right?
What was the last piece of information about the Big Bang that you consumed?
I think I just expressed that to you,
And it was,
and you denied it. It was
yeah, what was it?
the compression and the expansion of the
What
Big
was
Bang.
the piece of information that you consumed that material from?
Okay, that's a good follow. So let
Yeah,
me
that you
go
don't
back.
have an answer to because you've never consumed any material about this.
I
That
pulled
none
it
of
out
the
of my
books you
pocket.
mentioned say anything about compression during the Big Bang.
Have you read those books?
No, but I'm doing
Would
a
it be
search
rational
into
to
them,
make the claim?
and none of them are going to say something about compression. If they do, then the guy that has
You
read
would
the
only
book
have to.
would be
You would
able
only
to
be
tell
able
me.
to.
But
You would only be able to make the
it
claim.
can't do that, can
Have
it?
you read the book? Right?
Can it do that?
It'd only be rational to make that claim.
Can
Have
it
you
do that?
actually read the book? But you
No,
haven't read the
because
book.
I have one of these things called a bullshit detector. This isn't my first rodeo. It's not even my 100th rodeo. I have done so many rodeos. Okay. I know when somebody is coming up here and you're either making all this up or you're lying to try to sound special because you really do believe that you know a thing or two about this. And I literally mean one
No,
or
I
two
just
things that I could not imagine that you possibly
for
know
your
more
audience,
than
you
two things.
demonstrated.
You're
You
either just
demonstrate.
doing this
You
for fun
demonstrated
or
for
you
your
think
audience.
that you're important and that's why you make up lies because you need to do all this like ego stroking here on the internet to strangers
Just
for
to
some
clarify.
reason.
Just
So by inquiring as to where do you get any of your information from? Can you tell me any information about this? And you just rattling off random things, giving the title of a random book that you haven't read, that you can't describe where compression came from in there, and then bringing up Richard Dawkins as well, which was I don't know why, like if you knew anything about anything, you would have known to never bring him up because it makes zero sense. So these are the ways, despite me not having read that book, that I know you're full of shit. If I'm not full of shit, then you will be able to tell me how this compression fits in with that book you talked about. It's not up to me to go read the book and then prove it.
okay. All right.
So tell me about compression in the book 6 Numbers.
So, yeah, I just wanted to highlight something really quick because you
Tell
made a
me
lot
about
of,
compression in the
you
book
made a lot
6
of
Numbers.
claims that runs back to your most.
Look, dipshit, this isn't going to go any way other than the way that I'm going to have it go. And it left.